Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very 43rd hour of Adventurers Wanted. My name is Leo. I'll be your GM this morning, or DM, however you want to roll it. This is not technically a relaxed performance, and while the lights will stay like this, and while we do have a relaxed attitude to sound and movement from the audience for the benefit of people who would not necessarily be able to sit still or silent for a whole hour, we're not technically a relaxed performance because there are sound effects from Wilhelm at the back. There will also be some mood music that we'll be doing throughout. If you do feel like you need a rest, feel free to duck out of the door that you came in and come back when you're ready. I think that's that. This is a tabletop role-playing game. What does that mean? Well, the four people on my left and right play individual, unique characters in a fantasy setting. And as the game master, I play the fantasy setting. The gods that they commune with, the trees that they somehow side with, we had a bit of a debate last hour. It's been going. Yeah. And to try and keep things fair, we interact with one another using dice. They're not all as big as this. This is just a helpfully big one so you can see. The most common die that we use is a D20, 20-sided die, or an icosahedron if you're feeling nerdy. Higher numbers are better. And if you roll a natural 20, that's a critical success, and usually means whatever you're doing succeeds completely. But if you roll a natural 1, that's the opposite, and no matter how easy the thing that you were doing could have been, you mess up somehow, usually hilariously. Thank you, Bex. So, story so far. Our four players are playing characters that are members of a rebellion. For the last 5 years, they have been enslaved by an evil imperial cult that has sort of forced them to mine a mysterious ore from the ground, and they are just now starting to learn a little bit more about the nature of this ore. They throughout the cult, through the last week or so of their rebellion, last sort of 11 days, drove them out of the capital city, and being sort of the de facto power now, they haven't really held a democratic election, but people are coming to them with their problems. And the druid Kehim from the local forest Oakenbramble has come to them saying that the forest spirits are acting strangely, and could they come and help? And they went to the forest and found that the forest spirits were trying to purify some of this mysterious ore by placing it in certain magical trees that have the power to absorb the evil energy of this ore and refine it into a powerful crystal. And where we just, thank you, Bex, where we just left off, Sandor, who we'll meet momentarily, was inspecting the arcane properties of this ore and had felt that it could be used to create a more powerful magic effect than would otherwise be available. I feel like I've been talking a long time, so why don't we meet our players and their characters? So, starting on my right here, please tell us your name, your character's name, their pronouns, and give us a little bit about where their head is at the moment. Why don't you specifically tell us where they feel about the debate at the time?
My name is Bex. I use she, her pronouns. My character's name is Thatchy. They're an orc ranger. They use they, them pronouns. Most recently, they've had a rough few days, I would say, has poor Thatchy. Most recently, they have been aged exponentially by about 20 odd years and went from middle age to not quite so middle age, which they're coming to terms with. I'm fairly sure that they are just a bit confused, a bit old, a bit not really wanting to know what's going on, and just kind of wanting something to happen. Doesn't really know. Yeah, I think there's a lot of like, going on.
Cool. So vote leave then.
Yeah.
Hello. I'm Tom. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Evan, who uses she, her pronouns. Evan is a paladin Aasimar. Now, paladin is sort of a class that specialises in protecting others, and an Aasimar is a sort of low-level angel. And Evan, as far as she knows, was created by her deity Corellan not very long ago. She appears to have only existed in her mind, at least for a day or so. and has arrived here to assist this rebellion, particularly focused on purifying and cleansing those affected by this ore. And so, obviously, in this debate, she was rather conflicted because these trees seem to be rather victims in all of this, but nevertheless were required to purify this ore. But then a messenger from her god, a sort of much more senior version of herself, appeared and addressed her gave her very clear instructions.
Captain almost.
Yeah.
Indeed. Somebody called Planet, who we decided to christen Captain Planet because lol. And then he told her what to do, and she's now mulling that over, but is coming round to we just have to get on with this tree business.
I'm Vic. I am playing a character called Fidget. Uses she/her pronouns. She is a wood elf, technically, but has been raised all her life by a tribe of grungs, which are small, poisonous, chaotic, colourful frog creatures. And that has rubbed off on her a little bit, and so she is very strange, but she does truly love this forest and the creatures that live here, and so she is just trying to find a way that this can work with the least amount of hurt possible.
I'm Richard. I'm playing Sandor Blackmore, who is a human sorcerer. We're both he/him pronouns.
Mm-hmm.
Sandor comes from a long line of totally well-advised magical experimentation, and at this point is having strong ethical concerns about torturing sentient beings in order to get personal benefit or general benefit, and is kind of throwing a little bit of an issue there. But mostly at this point, really, really wants an excuse to use the ore to do something cool.
Of course, don't we all? Power corrupts. So, I realise that was an awful lot of exposition with 43 hours in, guys. So, if there are any sort of plot-related questions that you want to throw out at us, please feel free. Honestly, we'll try and keep you in the loop as much as possible. We're not here to confuse you. So where we last left off, Sandor had just held part of the refined crystal in his hand and could feel the weave, which is how an arcane magic caster sort of manipulates the world. It's how they cast their magic. They sort of feel a thickness around this crystal, almost as if this crystal would be able to amplify their magical effects. I asked you to roll a Constitution saving throw, which I believe was a 24.
Yes.
And you could feel a tug as it tries to pull your soul through time.
Super duper.
Sandor and Thatchy have already been aged quite significantly, almost 20 years each, by just exposure to this very realm. And you can feel that while it is powerful, and while it could be used as a weapon, it would require more research. Like, this thing is, you don't have a clue how you would use it. You can feel its power, but it's a bit like somebody who didn't know about how locomotion works, standing in a train station as the train goes by. You can feel the power coming off of the thing, but you had no idea how it works.
I'm a sorcerer. We're big on winging things.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Evan, this stuff clearly supercharges magical power.
I don't know about clearly, but it
Totally does. Trust me on this. You have mystical healing powers and cleansing powers and stuff. What about we try and combine forces in some kind of mystical ritual channeling deal and try and use this to either purify some of the ore or purify the tree? I mean, the worst thing that happens is it doesn't work.
No, the worst thing that happens is it blows up.
Okay, sure. Technically speaking, the worst thing that happens is that we
4
all
hours
explode.
ago, we were in a mine that collapsed and blew up because of magic being used with the ore.
Well, you seem fine now.
Because we escaped.
Yeah, so there you go.
Lots of other people did
She
not.
nearly died.
Yes.
I think blowing up another dimension is probably a bad idea.
I mean, that's clearly not plan A. But I feel like attempting to cleanse things, we really ought to.
I looked at the tree.
It looks nervous. The tree's bark has twisted and moved itself to present sort of eyes. It doesn't have a full face, but it's definitely sentient and definitely talking at this point. It goes, listen. 7 of you have lives shorter than mine. Does that not give mine more weight?
I mean, no, they super don't count elves more.
Also, there's quite a lot of Chewingas here, and they live for quite a long time, so I don't think you want to start comparing yourselves in terms of lifespan, because I don't think you're going to win in terms of the grand scheme, because actually there's lots of trees around here that are living and dying at quite a fast rate, about once every 5 seconds, so basically pick your battles.
Yeah, so to set the scene, the druid that asked for their help has brought them into a sort of... they're still in the same... Excuse me. They're still in the same plane, but they're in a dimension aside from time. And at the edges of the clearings around them, every 5 to 7 seconds, the trees are actually cycling through their entire lives. So they start small and grow and age and die, and small and grow and age and die, to the extent where in the corner of the eye, it creates almost a ripple effect around the edges.
How's the rest of the forest looking? I mean, like when we were, there.
Oh,
Yeah.
when you were there, yeah, it was looking okay-ish.
Forest.
Like before, you would know that just sort of 5 to 6 days ago, the forest was an uninhabitable... It was almost like a forest-sized bramble bush. And it was almost impossible to move through without hurting yourself. The wolves had grown large and evil and had started attacking people. The elves that lived there, including yourself, had to escape and sort of retreat. And in fact, you lost connection with your Grung family. And this is how you fell in with Kehim, is that... in order to try and escape the evil that was pervading the forest, you stumbled into Kehim's tribe and asked to stay while things were sorted out. Ever since, you've not been able to find your Grung family.
And this evil has stopped because of these guys doing some fancy stuff.
Yeah, so what they did is they went to the Chewingas and performed a sort of ritual sacrifice to the Chewingas, these forest spirits, and that sort of healed the forest.
Right.
For the audience, the Chewingas are a sort of foot-tall little forest sprites that look to a casual glance a little bit like a desiccated pine cone, but again the cone itself is white and twisted, but the cone itself is twisted in the shape of a face at the front of them. Up until this point they've only spoken in terms of clicks, and it's been a little bit creepy, but in this sort of dimension aside from time, they can talk to the party, which is exactly why they came here in the first place. And now they've just been stood having a big ethical debate for about an hour and a half.
I tell you what, let's give the healing thing one try, and if that doesn't work, then I'll
If it doesn't work, we may all die. So
yeah,
no.
I guess what
I'm going full angel posture at this point, just saying no.
I'm not going to back torturing the tree without trying this.
The Rangers both have healing magic as well.
I was keeping that quiet for a very specific reason.
Sandor would know.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyone with healing magic that can give it a go.
I cannot endorse using magic in relation to this all. I have seen what happens.
Okay.
basically what I'm asking is him saying that there's a corrupted all of the forest and stuff. Am I seeing that starting to affect the rest of the forest apart from this tree?
Yeah. The forest you can remember, because it was only 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You can remember way back when the forest was lush and thriving and growing.
Right. Okay.
It has stopped growing, and while it's not evil, it's not back to its former glory.
Okay, I would like to talk to the tree.
Sure.
Hello. Look, I'd like to think that I'm on your side. But you've been here, longer than I have, probably. You were going on lifespans. And can't you see, this place, it's sick. And I know that you're sick, but you need to bear this just a little bit longer. And we can fix it from whatever's causing this, but it's not just about you, it's that everything's connected.
But I will perish.
Well, that's how it works.
If I endure longer, I will die.
Yes, and you'll die and you'll rot, and then you'll become the dirt, and then new trees will grow out of you, and that's how this works. You think any of these trees here were here when this forest first started?
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, big boys.
Big boy!
Oh, it's not a relaxed performance.
I'm really sorry, Leo.
Your words speak to a truth that is greater than individuals. This I understand. Yet surely you can also understand my misgiving. I would not perish if that option is available.
I will take a bit of ribbon from my hair,
Yeah.
and I will throw it up in the air, and it goes, it's not really dying, it's just new life, and I'm going to fire an arrow at it.
Oh.
At the ribbon?
No, at the tree.
To what end? To killing it?
Yeah.
Roll an attack roll.
I cast
Hang on,
Sanctuary
now
on
we're
myself.
killing the tree rather than just torturing it.
Yeah.
This made a real quick U-turn.
Last hour? No.
If it's not going to cooperate, that's
like
a
you.
19.
A 19. Well, it's a tree. So...
AC is...
Actually, I do have the tree's armor class here. Yep, no, you hit it.
Okay. That was 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage.
Yes.
As
I
the...
hit a wooden thing with more wood.
Well, I mean, there's sharpened metal on the end of your more wood.
This is true, yeah.
Yeah, so the arrow cuts into the tree, and you can see that it begins to bleed a sort of purple sap from where your arrow struck it. It brings around...
I have 2 attacks. That's a 20 something.
Yep, I mean, that hits. What's your armor class?
15.
Okay.
That's a 7. And for my bonus action, can I cast Hunter's Mark?
Sure. How does that appear?
As the arrow fits into it, there's a kind of shimmer, and the tree for a second sort of glows, and then that's it.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
Nice. And in response to this, the tree brings around a bough and strikes at you. You managed to dodge initially. You were seeing it coming, but then it tricks you. And the second bough, you never even knew it was there. It comes... Clever girl. It comes around and catches you on the side for 16 bludgeoning damage.
Oh,
in your hip.
Is this what's happening now?
I cast Sanctuary on myself.
Vic appears to have initiated combat, so why not roll initiative?
Aww.
Is it Dex modifier or
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
that.
dex modifier.
14.
6?
14?
16.
I am feeling this music. 16?
Yes.
Thatchy?
I got a natural 1.
Natural 1. Sandor?
6.
6.
Really bringing up the level, the average of the team over here.
Right, the Chewingas, seeing that you are now on side, pick up the rocks and use you as a distraction. They are beginning to shuttle the rocks back into the tree, dodging underneath the boughs that are focusing on the 4 of you at this point. The tree itself has just had its turn, we'll say, which takes us to Evan.
Hello. Right, I would like to... Yeah, we're getting the ore into the tree.
I mean, so just
yeah.
for your head,
Yes.
Evan doesn't know that combat has been initiated.
No,
per
true,
se.
yes.
Look,
Well, the thing I was going to do, yes.
all she has seen is the tree. Well, Fidget start attacking the tree, and then the tree attacked back. So, if you want to continue, and this goes for you as well, Sandor. If you want to take an ethical stance here, feel free.
Well, Evan had come round to this already, and I'll do what Evan was going to do during that conversation, which is cast Sanctuary on herself.
Okay.
and then begin advancing towards.
Could you narrate how Sanctuary appears?
Sanctuary, I reach out with both my hands. They glow for a moment, and I direct that energy onto myself, and I begin to. It's like a sort of shimmering energy rather than a pure maintained energy, because Sanctuary means that anybody who tries to attack me must first make a Wisdom saving throw. So it makes it slightly harder to focus on me to attack me. That is why I'm doing it. So and then I simply start advancing towards the tree with a view to advancing whatever direction I need to go in to assist the Churunga as well.
So you're going to try and bring some rocks to the tree.
We've tried reasoning with it. My god has told me what to do. And now it's said that it doesn't care that the world will die.
I'm really worried that to the Twitch stream, this is such a U-turn, it'll look like I've gone outside of this and gone guys, you need to help me out. No, they've just done this.
Yeah.
This is.
I am very confused, but it's fine.
Yeah, I know, right?
The tree understood the logic that if it was selfish, the world would perish.
So why are
and
we
it didn't go along with it.
I have no idea.
Okay, we'll go.
Killing it rather than just leaving and doing it.
We're not killing it. Well, I'm not trying to.
Okay.
You're just shooting it.
Yes.
You're distracting it. So, Fidget, that actually brings us to your turn again.
Cool. I would like to
You can have that.
run away.
Thanks.
Well,
I'd like to run away.
I'd like to back up, out of range.
I will get an attack on you.
Can I, with my movement, get out of range of the branches?
Yes.
Then yes, I would. I'll take the opportunity if I can get out of range.
20.
Yeah. Okay. Lay it on me.
So, I'm not going to roll every time. So it's just another 16 damage.
Okay. Ow. But I'm
So
out of the range.
as you try and backflip out of range very nimbly, it just smacks you again and helps you on your way.
Fantastic. But I'm now out of range, and I have a longbow. So
Yes.
I am going to now just start taking shots in its face.
Roll.
Yeah. First one will miss 10.
10 will miss. As the arrow sort of glances off of the bark, you find that actually, despite it being a tree, it's harder to hit than you thought.
16 for second attack.
16 is just what you need. So the second arrow follows the first, and this time cuts off a bit of bark as you fire.
Okay. So.
And you don't forget your extra damage as well.
Yes, I would. Okay, because I did Hunter's Mark last time.
You did Hunter's Mark last time,
What I will do this time is I'll use my bonus action this turn to cast Slayer's Prey, so I 2d6.
Okay.
So that's...
Maths.
9.
The tree
6
groans
is,
and sways.
That's 19.
19 damage. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Longbows, man.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings us to Sandor.
Can I use a bonus action to speak?
Yeah, that would just be free. So whatever you can get out in 6 seconds.
I'll say, your life is forfeit either way. Do not die when you can perish protecting and purifying.
Roll a persuasion check.
I'll give you a nod for that. That's my exact vibe.
I'm not happy about being in this situation, just to be clear. No, that's tough. 8.
8. I mean, you are hostilely attacking the tree. It's not listening to
I
you.
haven't done anything.
Well, I know, but it's not listening.
I'll group her, I suppose.
Okay, I am gonna blow the tar into it then.
Blow the...
Lightning bolt time.
Sure. Just be aware you still are holding the oar, yeah?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm planning on using to
And
power
the
it.
tree is full of ore.
You're planning on using the oar to power... So narrate to us exactly what you're doing so that I have a clear picture.
So, we're clearly fighting this thing.
Yeah.
I am gonna holding the green glowing ore up in one hand. With the other hand, I'm gonna gesture out, calling out the arcane chant with the lightning bolt, and throwing out one hand towards it and saying, "Fall then!"
Is the lightning bolt streaking towards the ore-filled tree?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna use my shield to impose disadvantage on your attack against the tree.
it's
well,
a big tree. I don't really
It's
have
a
to shoot
lightning
past
bolt. Okay.
It's a thingy.
So here's the thing: the lightning bolt is going to travel through everyone. It's a lightning bolt. That's mechanically. That's how it works. Wait,
I'm
sorry, we're
aiming
going to have.
up at the middle of the tree. I'm not trying to shoot through people in the melee.
Okay, but nonetheless, you are also holding a magical battery in your other hand. So I need everyone to roll a dexterity saving throw, please, including you, Sandor.
+3, remember?
+3 because of the paladin. Somehow the tree passes. let's just say it sways to the left.
9.
9.
17.
17.
13.
That's a pass. That's a fail.
26.
26 is a pass. So, I would say roll 10d6.
I've got a lot of d6s too.
If you pass,
No, it's fine. I'll just hit the
You've
next
got it
couple of ones.
if you passed, then you take half this damage.
Oh, great.
I've got
So, Leah, what are we going to do for the next half an hour where all the characters are there? Do you need more d6s?
No, I do
No,
not.
you have that's
Unless you
5,
roll
6,
really
7,
badly,
8.
I'm down.
No, we're good.
I've got
We're
2
good.
down.
I've got mine. It's okay.
Okay, cool.
You might be perma-killed.
Well, we'll see how much damage Kahim
So
takes.
I made it. The max I can get is 30.
Oh my god.
I made it 30.
Listen,
How am I hitting people? I'm shooting.
literally everybody. Well, you'll see how you're hitting people in a second.
Right, let's do some maths. Oh, that's a lot of 6s in
It
there.
is. 18, 28, 30,
I'm down.
35, 41, 42.
42.
Down.
Down.
Highest half, isn't it, for us?
Half.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
it's
no, still
it's
down.
hard for you.
I'm
You're still
still
down
down.
because you've taken 2 hits
That's
from
why
the
I
tree.
get
48 half.
48
So
half is 24.
I'm up.
You're up. Sandor.
Oh, good.
No.
No, you're down.
Good.
So this is what happens. Sandor holds the battery, the crystal, aloft with left hand and fires out a lightning bolt. The lightning bolt not only travels towards the tree, which takes 24 points of damage, but it travels back up Sandor's arm through Sandor's body, using his very body as a conductor, travels to the crystal where it erupts out almost like a Tesla coil across everybody
yeah, that's really cool.
in the area. Some Chewingas are scorched and destroyed, thrown asunder. Kahim takes it to the chest. All of you, well, Fidget goes down.
I go down.
You go
Just.
down, so Evan
down
goes
as well,
down.
aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Sandor is actually held upright with the electricity, his muscles spasming with the power, and then he collapses in place, letting the crystal roll out of his hand across the moss. At this point, Kahim, who has taken 24 points of damage, must make a concentration saving throw to see if you guys remain... Hang on. Yeah. To see if you guys remain in... And what happens is the trees at the edge begin to slow down. And you all, not you two, but those of you who are conscious, feel a
You guys
wrenching...
can all sleep with us.
Yeah. feel a feel a wrenching on your soul. And that you can feel yourself being brought back into reality as the tree itself becomes a lot more mundane. Its branches wither and its leaves are starting to look grey. The Chewingas redouble their efforts, and you have been pulled out of the time side dimension. All of the elves you've come with, including Ilassi, Wisatris, and Kahim, look somewhat shocked.
they not
Shaken,
there?
and these three so here's the thing. They've all aged 24 years again now. Another 24 years. Now
Wait.
that doesn't touch
You're 25.
the elf, although I mean you are starting to look older now because you've aged about 50 odd years at this. Oh no, you
I
say
didn't age at all, so yeah.
you've aged about 50 odd years at this point, so you're starting to look a lot more venerated. You came into this
Yeah.
world 60.
Yeah.
Now
I'm
you're
like
looking.
110.
Yeah. Sandor has moved from being a man in his early 30s. Was that what it was, or late
it was
20s?
I was 35 and I aged
25.
14, so I was 39 before.
Yeah, you're now
63.
63. So his
Am I
hair
still
has.
really old as well?
You are fine because you're up, but you are still
I'm
really
still really
old.
old,
You're still
okay.
really old. And obviously, the cost of that lightning bolt was a lot more than Sandor expected. Also, on top of that, the crystal that Sandor held now has rock forming around it, and it is dull and jade. It has reverted to being the ore that you know well and good.
Clever.
Cheers.
I enjoy this game.
I don't know if you know, but there's no script.
Well, I suppose I'm going to go and use a lot of spell slots and try and get everyone back. It's a good thing that I have Cure Wounds, but I don't have a lot to use it on, so I think I can just make everyone conscious, but not much else. So I'm going to cast Cure Wounds first on Fidget.
Okay.
Who I know also has healing.
Is that just D8, your first level?
First level, so it's D8 plus my...
Your wisdom modifier.
So, D8 plus 3. That's
8.
better, 8.
So, Fidget, you awaken to an old, venerated-looking orc casting this magic over you. How does I've never seen Thatchy cast magic. How does Thatchy's magic appear?
So I think Thatchy will, try and speedily hover over, not really used to having old bones in, an old skin, and reach forward with their large sort of orcish arm, grip hold of their arm, and just have a pulse that just goes down the arm of magic into the other person. So it's not gentle, it's very okay.
It's more like a defibrillator.
It's like if I punched you but it healed you, like that.
Yeah. Sure.
Great title.
Let's have just had... He's speaking in Grung. Did we win?
Help. And I point to the other two who are down, and I go over to you can wait. I go over to Evan. And
we're still in initiative order.
Oh, right,
we're still in initiative order. So the Chewingas are fighting the tree, which is currently leafless, looking a bit like the Whomping Willow from Harry Potter, as it rakes back and forth, just stopping the forest spirits from getting the ore inside of it. They do not look like they're winning. They can't do this without your help, essentially. Evan.
Hi.
Can you roll?
Just at the end of my turn, can I bonus action Hunter's Mark the tree?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, how does your Hunter's Mark sort of appear?
Again, sort of like if I was firing an arrow, but there's no arrow there, I just sort of ping the string and it sends the magic forwards and hits into the tree.
Nice, I love that. Evan, as you have just been shocked to the core, can I get a death saving throw, please? Oh, pass.
Yeah.
Good.
2 days in a row, death saving throws.
I know.
Yes.
If you fail 3 of these in a row, then you die permanently. Just so you're aware of the stakes. Now it's Fidget's turn.
Okay. I will go over to Evan, and I will Cure Wounds first level, then get her up. So that's 6. Yeah. 6 points.
How does Fidget's magic appear? I'm interested.
Fidget's magic is actually incredibly colourful. And it sort of varies on colour depending on what it is. It's kind of her own version of grung poisons.
Okay.
So, so healing magic actually probably comes out the kind of gold.
Oh, nice. So each spell's going to be a different colour of spray.
Yes, depending on grung poison. Interesting. Gold grung poison makes you scream uncontrollably. So it's like the
So
reverse
as
of-
you come back to consciousness, Evan, you feel a vibration in your mouth that is unintentional.
Am I just screaming constantly now?
Well, no, just.
No, because I'm not actually a grung.
Oh, okay, fine.
But for the first, it's like you come back yelling.
It's like if magic was a scream.
Yeah.
What happened to my voice? What is this? What? I don't understand. Thank you. What? I have many questions about this plane of existence.
What happens if you die of old age?
I don't know. I've never died normally before either.
Sandor, can I get a death saving throw from you,
What am I
please?
trying to be on this?
So if it's double digits, it's a pass. If it's single
you don't
digits,
add
it's a
anything.
fail.
That's a pass.
That is a pass.
Fantastic. As you're still sort of spasming, lying on the floor, twitching from this electricity coursing through you. That brings us back to Thatchy.
We told him not to cast spells with the crystal, and he did it
You
anyway.
really did.
Thatchy, I don't know whether Thatchy wants to heal him, but I think they will.
Sorcerer's got a sorcerer.
Yeah, I Cure Wounds at first level again on Mark. Oh, I have like so little spells left. Right. Yeah, so you get 5 health back.
So I come back on 5.
Yeah.
But that one is very much more of a I'm actually punching him in the arm to heal him.
Sure. As Thatchy's defibrillator comes down upon you, and you shock back into the existence.
No magic.
Dear. That could have got worse.
It could have been worse, but not much worse.
And then I'm going to bonus action Slayer's Prey as well, ready to actually be able to do something next time.
Okay. At which point we come back to the top of the round. Let's see how the Chewingas are faring. Not very well. And as you watch, you can see that the tree, it's got some Chewingas on its branches, and it just shakes and throws them off into the undergrowth aside. And you can see actually that while there seem to be a lot of Chewingas, a lot of these forest spirits around, the amount of them that have died is quite high now. There's about 20 to 25 just shattered, broken pine cones around on the floor, with a certain glow, a green essence around them. This is not pleasant. The forest is fighting itself, trying to cast out this infection. And that will lead us to Evan.
I get up, steadying myself. I appear older, but I feel probably just in the same way that I moved very swiftly and ably when I appeared 60. It's more aesthetic in how I've changed, given that I'm not fully physical and real. So I say thank you, and then seeing the devastation you just described, grit my teeth and start moving towards it as I go, laying hands on myself.
Sure.
For 24 hit points, bringing myself back up to 30, because I'm going to need it. And what is the best place for me to put myself to help the Chewinga?
Well, don't forget that the objective is not to kill this tree.
Yes, exactly.
It's not to
not
fell the tree. The objective is to get the stones inside the tree.
In which case, whatever you'll let me do in terms of actions, in terms of grabbing some stones and moving towards the tree.
Absolutely, yes. So you can grab some stones and move towards the tree, but the tree is up to its old tricks, as it were.
No.
Roll a dexterity saving throw for me. Let's see if you can get closer. 11. You're not toppled, but you do have to, your movement is slowed and stopped as you have to try and dodge a root which bursts out of the ground and tries to catch your leg. Tries to ensnare you like you were before, but you managed to dodge it this time.
Right.
Fidget.
Is there a pile of ore near us?
There is a pile of ore near you,
Do I have some kind of sling?
I'm going to say yes.
I would like to start slingshotting pieces of ore into the tree.
Of course you would. Sure, why not? Roll as if it were a bow.
So that's a 21.
21. Yeah, the Grung have taught you how to use your sling well, and you pick up a piece of the ore, side shot it, and in fact, you bend it like Beckham. It's like a curve. It curves as it goes around a bough. It's real pretty to watch, and then just lodges itself inside of the tree itself. That's good. That was good.
No, I have 2 attacks.
You have 2 attacks. You do another one.
Yeah. That's a 24.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So I'll just lodge the other one.
And it curls round, this time backhand it the other way, around the bough of the tree that is desperately trying to move. It's swaying back and forth and trying to make it difficult, but you're too good at this.
Yeah. Can I see... Yeah, I've not heard it, so bonus action-wise, I just will use my movement to kind of position myself. I want to kind of distract the tree.
Okay.
Out of range, but be like...
I'm going to say you've done quite a lot this turn.
Okay.
But sure.
My bonus action is to be distracting.
Okay. I mean, you are anyway.
Yes, I am a very brightly coloured thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sandor.
Is there anywhere I can pick up a bunch of this ore?
Absolutely, yeah. As you watch, you actually see Evan bends down and she gets a handful of the ore and starts towards the tree, but has to stop and dodge a root.
Okay, I am going to grab up just armfuls of the ores, just enough that I can barely even lift it.
Okay, roll a strength check.
Enough that I can lift. But
Well, let's just see how much you get.
a 6.
Okay. You've never been the labourer, you've never been the
No, I
manual
haven't.
lifter, so you do pick up quite a bit, but nowhere near as much as Evan.
That's unfortunate. I am going to make sure I'm not standing too close to anyone. And then I'm going to thunder step. Well,
Okay.
it only blasts stuff at my origin point, right? The place that I appear
You're
as.
holding a lot of
Yeah,
ore.
what was your origin point, Sandor?
Well, that's what I said. I'm going to use my move to step away from being next to anything that might
Still
be.
holding ore.
Yeah, okay, but my point is, like, so you want to step away from the ore itself before
Yeah, I'm
you
hoping that
use
the stuff I'm
thunder step.
carrying will just immediately explode the moment I do anything.
It
shouldn't have healed.
won't immediately explode, but just so you're aware, like, what we've established is that sort of using magic on the ore primes it as if it were a grenade, and then any physical contact after that
Okay, so
tends to
using
make
this
it
while
erupt.
carrying it even might set it off.
Yeah.
Okay, I will give that a miss. I will just try and.
I mean, you feel free to do it, just be aware of what the consequences
No,
are.
I'm not going to take that big a risk, but not after the last one went quite so. What I will try and do is, given that this is clearly tearing the little critters apart, I'm going to try and frost orbit to freeze the tree. And
Okay,
hopefully
yeah.
that'll slow it down.
Absolutely, but you're still carrying ore, yeah?
But no, I will just give picking up the ore a miss.
Okay, fine. So you go to pick up the ore,
And
and
now
you're
I think
like,
a little bit better.
actually,
I feel the twinge in my back. This hasn't worked out well so far. Let's give it
yeah,
a
exactly.
Yep, and so I am going to cast the chromatic orb at a 3rd level.
3rd level, ooh. Love them leveled up chromatic orbs. So as you move your hand, you pick a blue pebble out of the air, out of the sky, and chuck it at the tree.
And my magic is all kind of like little flickering runes and glowing symbols and stuff kind of appearing and disappearing and
Cool.
swirling in and out.
Very nice.
Spell attack, please do. Ooh, 26.
26 will hit, yeah, absolutely. And you try and freeze one of the boughs in place. What frost damage have we got?
26 now. Please 3.
5d8 damage.
28 damage.
28?
Yep, 3rd level.
Fantastic. Love that chromatic orb. The bough does indeed freeze in place. It tries to move against this frost, but it can't do anything but rotate in place as it crunches the ice. You all get that sort of, your teeth go on edge as the ice scrapes against the ice. Yep, that brings us back to Thatchy.
Cool. The full plan,
Okay.
and you can obviously tell me how much this is not going to work, whatever. I'm expecting just to roll a lot of dice, is to shoot it with 2 arrows, and if either of them hit, try and ensnaring strike at level 2. I know it's probably really strong because it's a tree, but I thought it might, yeah, so then I basically try and restrain it.
Right,
rather
okay.
than do a lot of damage to kill it. I just want to restrain it to allow them to like chuck the ore in and run away.
Got it. So you watch as Sandor, it had these 2 main bows that it was using. You watch as Sandor freezes one in place. You go to shoot your ensnaring strike at the other. The arrow fires and...
That's 16.
Yeah, that is just what you needed.
Great.
So you look, and for a second there, you're not quite sure about which way it's going to move, but then you fire your arrow. And could you describe to us the magic around this arrow?
Yeah, so as the arrow impacts into the bark of the tree and sinks in, just a pulse passes through it. It's like, goo, and just encompasses the area around, just causing it to freeze up. Do I also roll damage on that?
I mean, you're specifically trying to be non-lethal?
I'm trying not to be lethal, but like just to remind it that we're still like a threat.
Yeah,
maybe,
go on, roll
so,
damage. Yeah, why not?
I
mean, it
but
doesn't-
I won't use my extra attack. That
It
might be
looks
difficult.
quite close to death at this point,
Oh boy.
tree-wise. As much as trees can look close to death, you know, it looks... It's...
I know it to be lethal. Like,
Well, roll your
Lethal.
damage, you'll be fine.
I mean, no, I have
You won't
a
do...
D8 and 4d6 damage.
Yeah,
to
you
roll.
won't kill it with the
Okay,
shot.
that's fine. 16... 19.
19
plus
total.
3. Yeah.
So 22.
22.
Okay, that's actually really neat. that brings us to that.
A nice round number now.
It's a nice round number. Yeah.
Great. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, so the ensnaring strike indeed seizes this bough up as well as the Chewingas begin to start shoveling the ore into the tree, and Evan comes up beside them.
Yes.
Yeah,
I arrive. And yes, I come up beside them as they arrive. Evan has had a thought, and given what we've discussed, indeed, and given what we've discussed about arcane casting versus divine casting and magic and so on, and what pretty much everything Evan has done since she arrived has been to do with this ore and taking as much information as possible. Would she think it was a good idea to channel her divinity using the mechanical ability Sacred Weapon to make the largest piece of ore she's holding into imbue it with divine energy, or would that simply make it
that would probably set it off.
It would be it would be magic, and therefore magic bad.
Yeah.
In which case, she does a sort of flavour version of that by saying a prayer as she joins the what are they called, Chewinga, in shoveling as much as she can do in 6 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
But is praying to or crying out to Corellon as she.
So you get down onto your knees, the crevice only being a foot high, and you shovel as much of this get in. And to be honest, being quite a hardy paladin, you've managed to carry enough into it, like 7 or 8 Chewingas worth, to the point where you've filled this thing up now. Like you push to try and squeeze it down. Roll me a strength check. Nope.
It's not even cocked. Nope. It's just a 5.
A 5?
Yep.
As you push, you just can't squeeze any more of this stuff in. The tree is full. You turn and look back at the pile. Yeah. There's still quite a lot of it there. Yeah.
Okay. I shoot the plant now. I turn around and while doing that, and I say, the tree is full. We need more trees. This. He is complying, it would appear.
And as you watch the tree, one bough sadly frozen in place, the other bough ensnared by ranger magic, stops, and its leaves begin to just fall off of it. And its bark begins to desiccate and turn grey, and it ceases its movement and sags. And the Chewinga that had started rushing towards it, carrying pieces of the ore with them, stop and look up at it, and all sort of bow towards the floor. And as you consider what you're going to do with the rest of that pile of ore, that is where we're going to have to leave this hour of Adventurers Wanted. So thank you very much for coming, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do spread the word about the show on the social medias and face-to-face. We've been live tweeting the entire show. That's what Naomi has been doing with the... There's no apostrophe there. I just stumbled halfway through the word.
There's a theme.
Naomi. Sorry. And we are also live streaming out on Twitch with this camera here. Hello, Twitch stream. So on Twitter, we're at Adventurers250, and everywhere else on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitch, we're Adventurers Wanted. We also have a Patreon if you really like what we're doing, as well as a donate button on our website, those of you out on Twitch. We do this every month down in London, as well as free play games to try and bring D&D to a larger community and collaborate with theatre makers and show them what D&D can do for them. Just before we go, I'm just going to hand over to my players and give them an opportunity to plug you with something that they're involved with. Thank you, Chloe.
I cast Sacred Weapon.
Tom, take it away.
Hi. Do you like alternate history? If you like D&D, you may also be interested in the equally deeply nerdy alternate history game, which is, of course, what if history. So things like what if Hitler had won the war, or what if Britain had voted Remain in 2016, and everything in between. I run a publishing house called Sea Lion Press, where we publish lots of books along these lines, and we've published about 70 of them so far. They're available on Amazon and various other places. Type Sea Lion Press into Google, and you will find us if this is at all interesting to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Bex?
I'm just going to plug a improv. Yeah, if you like D&D, there is a chance that you will also enjoy Harry Potter. There's a Venn diagram and a lot of circles cross over. There is an Edinburgh-based improv group called Spontaneous Potter that do shows all throughout the year, but they are doing I think it's their Fringe debut. They're doing the full month, and it's been like majoritively sold out. They are really good. They are at the Rose Theatre at sometime after 8 before 9 o'clock. I cannot remember, but they are really good, worth catching if you are into that kind of thing.
Awesome. Vic?
If you like D&D, you may also like gritty documentaries
Nice.
about real-world issues. In which case, you should check out Japan's Secret Shame, which is about the appalling attitudes towards rape in Japan, and it's made by a production company. And it's on iPlayer for the next week and a half or so.
Cool. Richard, anything?
No, I'm just playing here. It's all good.
Fantastic. If you are interested in playing and coming back, please do inquire at the Sweet Box Office. There are limited amounts of tickets to come up on stage and play with us. That's what Vic and Richard have been doing here. And all that remains for me to do is to ask you to give a round of applause to our wonderful players. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leo. King of the animals.
Thanks very much, guys. You've been a great audience.
You're the real actor.
We do have a quick 10-minute turnaround. If you do want to come back, please do pop out to the box office and let them know you're staying.
You got me back
I
up.
thought this stuff's refined. Maybe it's safe to use. You never know.
Well,
No,
it
mate.
has made me think about
Who is this?
healing magic with it, if it
face.
accelerated bad
Yeah,
magic.
that was the thing.
Yeah,
But
because I was
because
like,
of the
well,
fact it
everyone's
sounded-
dying.
I was going to do that. I was going to like try and lay on hands on
Well,
loads
yeah,
of
I'm
people.
going to go and
This
see
was
if
my
we can-
suggestion.
Right, anyway, let's continue this during the actual
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Like double wheeling out.
Yeah.